Hey everyone and welcome. We're down here in my wormery, and if you've been here before you might recognize this is my VermiBag Mini with the European nightcrawlers in it. This is a continuous flow-through worm composter, which means it's got a hatch on the bottom where once the finished castings are done they're ejected out the bottom. So up here on the top we are not really supposed to dig down into the material. Ideally, we would just take whatever today's portion would be, drop it in on top, and then let them get back to work. I've tried filming this way through the little portal. There's a portal window here on the side of this VermiBag. It's an optional part of the bag, so I don't think all VermiBag Minis have a portal window, but this one does, and through this clear window I'm shooting the video, and I've got a number of overhead lamps here, and I'm sure that from the bright light these worms are probably wishing they were somewhere darker, a little bit more private. But before they all scurry away, at least we got a chance to check them all out. One pretty interesting thing, just the pattern on these European nightcrawlers with these little rings, these cool concentric rings going all the way around. This piece of paper was really just covering up whatever food it was that we had added previously. I'm not going to go digging down, obviously. It's really not the way this bin is meant to be dealt with. But I am curious to see how the last feeding is doing. The one thing we did do here last time was we added a fair amount of leaves on top, so a lot of what we're seeing here on top are just a top coating of leaves. So I'm just curious to see if we might spot any of the previous feeding in here. And we can maybe just open up a little small pit where we can place this week's feeding. I could already recognize stem of a tomato plant. Some of those store-bought vine tomatoes. Those are actually from 2 feedings ago. But in the last feeding I also remember us placing a whole tomato in here. And it's pretty mushy, but it's not yet been eaten. And then right here next to it was another of the objects that we had placed in here, which is a banana. Banana peel, not a whole banana, just the peel of the banana. And alongside that, I believe we had just placed in a number of leaves. Maybe, I'm not even sure what it was. Maybe we had some Brussels sprouts or something like that. But I believe there was some sort of an additional food item placed in here last time we fed, which I don't really see any signs of. And I did watch the video earlier just to refresh my memory on what had happened in these VermiBags. And I know there was some sort of a leafy material. So it might not have been Brussels sprouts, but something along those lines. So this food is breaking down nicely. And right here on top of it, we're going to go ahead and place in the next feeding. These are some kohlrabi, I believe it's called. Some stems of kohlrabi. There's a couple pieces of tomato. How about a banana peel? That looks like a nice portion. They're gradually making their way through whatever food we give them. Usually this is about what they get, about maybe at least a handful or 2, and that's somewhere in that neighborhood of somewhere between 1 and 2 handfuls, I believe. So I just wanted to make sure we check in on this bin today, because we took the time earlier to deal with the other nightcrawler bag. The VermiBag that the African nightcrawlers were in was actually harvested today. In the past, or at least recently, I've been feeding these VermiBags on the same day. So since some special attention was paid to the other VermiBag by harvesting it, I figured let's at least get this one fed today. So we've got a nice feeding down here in the middle. I'm just going around the edges checking out what the vermicompost looks like around the perimeter, and it's just so nice. It's like a super loose, sugary, really fine material. No matter which side I look on, I find the same result. For some time now, I've not been digging down into this bin. So I just figured out here on the edge we would take a quick peek, because out here it's been getting a little bit dry lately, but right now it seems like it's actually maintaining like a perfect balance of moisture, and it's not compressed either. I thought it would be really compressed. You could stick your fingers right down into it, so very nice material. Before we cover up here, I'm going to add one other staple item, which I often add, two staple items. Go ahead and drop in a little bit of grit. I've also got a fair amount of coffee that I need to get rid of, so I'm just adding some coffee here to increase this feeding by a little bit, but not by much. Alright, well, I like how things look in this bin. I'm so curious what the material down underneath is, because for a few months now I've been top feeding only, not permitting myself the satisfaction of picking through the material to satisfy my curiosity. But I have a feeling things are working out pretty nicely right beneath the surface on this thing. So this was all I needed to take care of, is a quick feeding today. So we'll bring back the plastic and all the other coverings, and we'll get things cleaned up here, but that's boring. I won't bother you with that. I'll take this as a quick opportunity to say thank you. Thank you for watching the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, as always, please remember to give me a thumbs up. That's always really appreciated, and also consider becoming a subscriber to the channel too. That's really appreciated as well. Alright everyone, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.